Hey, what's up everyone? AdorierLegoStudios here, back here with another video, and guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Building the Battle of Kamino. Basically, this is a weekly building series that I do here on the channel, and this is today's episode is kind of going over the past couple weeks. Basically, if you guys remembered, last week I did not have an episode just because of the fact that I was out of town. I was visiting my friends in Indiana, and I just, of course, didn't have time to actually film Kamino, so I ended up skipping the last week. And honestly, I'm pretty okay with it because of the fact that I was able to get a ton of work this past couple weeks. And you guys are going to see all the work that got done. Basically, we got the pillars or the columns. Basically, you can see kind of right here, kind of in its final stage, basically already being built up. I really love this design over my, I guess, older one that you may have saw in Aiden's previous episode. Basically, I went through it, had to kind of redesign it because of the fact that I had to realize that the columns had to have a lot of weight to it, or at least stability to it, because of the fact that, in my mind, it's going to have to be large enough, and it has to be decent size to the point that it can hold like a gunship or hold enough amount of troops. And the general sake of, I don't want one platform with a pillar underneath it to be this really large one that holds the gunship, and the others be kind of smaller ones and rinky-dinky ones. And so I'm trying to make them all the same size because of the fact that it'll look a lot nicer. And so the other one I thought was great. It looked great, and my main issue was it was just way too skinny and way too not really flimsy. It wasn't the best design, and I came up with this design, which I'll be getting into in just a moment. But I really love this design. I'm actually really happy with how it's coming out, and I actually just got some parts in today, which I'll be showing you guys in just a moment. And I can't wait to continue this one. I've actually already started working on the second one right there, so I'm really excited. Now, before we get into the actual video, I do want to mention that there will be, the beginning of the video will be actually a time lapse of me working on placing down studs, placing down the first pillar and the second pillar, kind of giving a start. Now, this is something I want to do for these new updated episodes because of the fact that this is something I wanted to do with Hoff, but I never ended up doing, and that is to kind of time lapse or stream build Kamino. And last week I wasn't able to stream Kamino because of the fact that Aiden had just got back from Virginia and I just got back from Indiana, and that's kind of why I did the Clone Trooper building stream. So hopefully next week he and I are gonna set a time to actually set up a live stream for building Kamino. If not, there'll be another Clone Trooper building stream. I've still got plenty of battle packs to build, and yeah, other than that, I just wanted to mention that what this series is going to be a little bit different than the past episodes of Hoff. But yeah, this week again got a lot of progress. That built up the army and a few other things. So I'm gonna stop blabbering. Let's get into today's episode right. Okay guys, so like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have a couple packages to go over. I actually got these two packages this morning in the mail, and instead of making its own video, I might as well add this to the actual episode of Kamino, because these parts are all for Kamino, except one thing that I think Blaine packaged into this. But basically, this first package is coming from Blaines World Lego. As you guys know, he's a good friend of mine. He's also a sponsor from Empire Lug, and he's good there. I'm good friends with him, and he's just got a great part selection and great prices. So I usually buy him on this channel, as you guys know. So let's get into this first package from Blaine. I ordered a ton of parts. There's this little card right there if you want to go check him out. Again, I highly recommend you checking out Blaines World. He's got amazing parts. He's got amazing deals. But basically, I ordered these parts earlier this week, and I was happy to get them this morning because of the fact that, honestly, I could definitely use these parts later, I guess later today and this past weekend, just because of the fact that a lot of these are really pieces that I actually need a lot of. These right here are just some Technic beams, just because of the fact that I kind of need these for kind of stabilizing or at least upholding the actual pillars and columns. So these are really nice to have. I ended up picking those up. I got a ton of these 2x2 slope curved pieces right here. I got a lot of these in this package. I think there's like 200 and something in that bag. I need a lot of these because of the fact that this is what gives the columns its curve, and you'll see what I mean by that in just a moment here in a second. In this bag we have a combination of parts. Take these out. Right here we have some of those kind of hinge pieces, or hinged 1x4 parts. These are also very useful for the actual pillars or columns, and I need a lot of those as well. So luckily those Blaine has plenty of those. Just some. Also, we have some 1x10s, I believe these is. There's some 1x2s, which I just picked up because of the fact that I've been running low on those, and some 1x4s. Or not 1x4s, 1x8 plates. Those are always useful. This package actually came with something special for me because of the fact that, as you guys know, this past weekend was Brick Fair, Virginia, and our sponsors, Eclipse Graphics, basically had a booth, of course, and had a bunch of special things. And one thing that in particular that I really wanted to get, they had at the booth, and so I asked Blaine to pick this up for me, and then I would just pay him back, and he could just ship it out with my order, and he did. This is actually really cool, and I'm very happy with it. This again came from Eclipse Graphics. They are our Empire Lug sponsors. This is actually really cool. For those of you who haven't seen Far From Home, this is kind of a brick wall that they showcase, or in the actual movie. It's just masonry brick with the printed Iron Man and graffiti on it. So overall, this is actually really cool. I'm very happy with this, and I'm definitely gonna have to find some way to interfere this with some kind of mock later down the road. But I'm really happy with that, and again, a huge thank you to Blaine for picking this up for me. This is actually really awesome. But of course, that is not going to be used for Kamino. So moving on, we have these kind of light bluish gray triangle signs. Now for these are actually going to be used for the Aqua Droids. As you guys know, this is going to be based off of the Clone Wars, but with more realistic characters. Now, since it is based on the Clone Wars, we are going to be adding Aqua Droids, and I actually have one that I'll be showcasing in just a moment here. But I bought more of those because of the fact that they are needed for the actual headpiece of the thing. Right here we have some of the 1x2 kind of not hinge pieces, but the yeah, I'm gonna call it hinge pieces. I can't remember. Modified 1x2s. Now we have some more of the hinge joints and the kind of ball joints in this bag. This is kind of the connector piece. The ball joints are right here. Now the 1x4, I also have some 1x4 hinge pieces, kind of like the black ones down right there. Next we have just a couple 1x2s. I actually just added these in my order just because of the fact that I needed a few for something. So that was pretty easy. And then a bunch of these modified 1x2s bricks with the the Technic pins on the side. These are actually meant to connect those things to the actual pillars, so that's quite useful. Moving these off to the side, we have another package. Now this package is coming from April's April's Paradise of Bricks. I've been actually ordering from her quite recently. I think her store is quite nice. In this order is just a few different parts, including tiles and some more hinge parts. Like, for instance, these are some more hinge green parts. Bought a bunch of these 1x6 tiles. I need a lot of these, especially for giving the tile-ish look on the actual pillars, which again we'll showcase in just a moment. We just have kind of just the overall amount of parts that we actually got. We have some more hinge parts. Again, these things are very needed and useful for this for the pillars. I need as much as I can get. We got some more in the black color, and then lastly, which of course I need, is trans blue studs, or the 1x1 studs in trans blue. So these of course I need for the actual water. I think there's about 620 something studs in this bag. I believe so, at least. Basically, these are going to be used for the water, which I'll showcase again in just a moment. I do actually have roughly 10,000 coming in the mail, so this is kind of just to replenish what I have now, and then that 10,000 I'm going to be getting in a day or so, or at least next week will be coming, and that's going to be kind of a useful and helpful amount of parts. So that's kind of what we got today. I also have a couple more orders that are coming in, including some more clone pilot, or at least clone pilots in general, so they're going to be used for the actual gunship. But again, I've got some more parts coming in the mail, and I think that's going to be it. Let's get into today's actual full-on view of what I was able to get done in this past week. Okay guys, so getting on today's actual progress of the actual Battle of Kamino. This is how much we were able to get done, including adding some more clone troopers to the army, which is actually growing pretty nicely, and I'm actually really loving the Phase 1 army. Now, again, I want to point out that there's not, it doesn't look like there's much went into this, and probably doesn't look like it took that long, but I'm being completely serious. The overall amount of work that these two things, or at least these two base plates right here, took was extremely long. Now, I do hope you all enjoyed the time lapse I did of building most of the studs, or at least most of the water on this side, the beginning of the pillar, and kind of finishing that one off. I really hope you all enjoyed that, because of the fact that I would like to continue doing that, because of the fact that I really like time lapses, and I would love to continue putting them in episodes of Kamino, kind of showcasing me building and not just me showing what I've got. So hopefully you all enjoyed that. If you did, definitely let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, there was a ton of work that went done in this past couple weeks. I know I've been gone. I was gone last week, so there was no episode, but I think that's perfectly fine, because we went from having no progress, well, nothing in the first episode because of the fact that it was the first episode, it was more so planning, to having a ton of studs placed on this, the pillar already being built, and I'll get into that one, and then on this side, the second pillar being built along with more studs. Now, this does bring me to my first topic, because of the fact that, as you guys remember, I mentioned at the beginning of last week's video that I did blueprints, and sometimes the blueprints don't come out 100% on how the actual MOC is going to look, and this is actually the first, this is actually exactly what I was meaning. So if we look at the blueprints right here, we have the two platforms right here and right here, kind of signifying these two base plates, this base plate right here and this base plate right here. Well, as you can tell, this base plate is just filled with studs. This is not where I put the pillar. The pillar is actually on this base plate right here. So why that's like that is because of the fact that I had to realize how large the actual pillars and the platforms had to be, because of the fact that, like I said, I have to make sure that all the scaling is done correctly, because of the fact that if I don't have, or if I have one platform that fits the gunship, and this is the main platform, then, and the other platforms are a bit smaller because of the fact that they won't fit gunships, that, or at least a lot smaller than the bigger platform, it's just going to look really really odd or really weird. Now, it doesn't matter if it is shrunken a little bit because of the fact that there isn't going to be a gunship on that, but it needs to be large enough for the essence that, you know, there could be a decent large battle on these platforms. So that's why I had to update the actual pillars, and honestly, I actually really love how this pillar came out. Again, you can go back and watch Aiden's episode of last week. He'll kind of showcase what the original design was. The original design was very, very skinny. Honestly, you could actually fit that old pillar inside this one. So honestly, I think this is a lot better design. I've spoken to Aiden about it, and honestly, this thing is just way better. And honestly, I actually really like the overall look of it. It keeps that kind of circular vibe because of the actual columns. Now, I do want to point out, this is why I meant that I ordered so many of these 1x2, or not 1x2, the 2x2 plates, or curved slopes right here, because of the fact that I'm going to need a lot of them, because they go up, they're kind of like a trim, and basically go up the sides like that. Now, this is not all the ones I ordered. I actually ordered, I think, a few hundred more. And now, that sounds like a lot, but honestly, realizing that you have this side, that side, and that side to go all the way up, and on top of that, you've got this one on top as well. And then you have that one, which I haven't started yet. I kind of just mapped out where it's supposed to be. But honestly, I think this is looking great. As you can see, like I mentioned, I need a lot of those kind of swivel 1x4 hinges pieces, kind of give it that connective area. So I need a lot of those, and that's kind of why I bought more. I actually have a lot more coming in the mail. But honestly, I really love this column. I think it came out really nicely. The issue I'm coming up with it, though, is kind of filling in these gaps with studs, because you can't really place them. But I have a few ideas on how to kind of fix that situation pretty easily, which involves like regular tiles, kind of like what I did right here. I actually just threw in some tiles right there sideways to kind of give it that flush feel. So I'll probably do something similar around the whole thing. Now on this side, again, this is kind of just the beginning stage of what that was, and kind of gives you that idea of what's going on. And honestly, I can't wait to actually build two of these. I'm probably going to get this one to a decent size height, or at least to the max height, and then I'm probably going to work on this more, just because of the fact that once I have the first one fully built, I can kind of just copy and paste there and there, because I already know what it's supposed to look like. So honestly, again, there was a lot of work done this week. I also finished the black border. It's completely tiled over and all that, and it actually came out really nice. Honestly, it looks really nice, especially with the water kind of just going over it. And actually, I'm really happy with the overall look of the water next to the pillar, and it actually just looks really nice. Now, I do want to point out that once all the water is actually placed down and the pillars are done, Aiden and I plan on kind of going through and maybe making some waves so it gives it a little bit more lifelike. Well, honestly, even this just looks so nice. I'm actually really happy with the progress that got done. Now, again, this past week, I did do a live stream building some more clones. You can kind of see them in the back. They're the ones that don't have any blasters on them. The ones with blasters, I guess the ones I've previously built. But honestly, we built up a decent chunk of troops. Now, I'm actually really liking this clone army so far, and I still have a bunch more to build. Again, Aiden and I are hoping to do a Kamino stream next week, but if we can't, I'll probably do another stream, kind of just putting it together, a few more battle packs to build up the clone army. Now, like I mentioned in the, portion of the thing, I bought a bunch of these triangle pieces right here, and this is basically going towards the aqua droids that are going to be used. Don't mind this black front right here. That's going to be turned to light bluish gray. Just I don't have any light bluish gray ones on me. I'm correct, I purchased a few of them, but for now I think it looks fine. Now I do want to point out this is Aiden's design. We did give it a little upgrade because of the fact that Aiden made that design like last year or so, or at least a couple years ago, and he and I agreed that probably should need a upgrade, and including the blaster, which I actually quite like. So this is what the aqua droid's going to look like. That's kind of why I bought a bunch of the head triangle sign pieces. Honestly, Aiden did a great design on this. I think it looks fantastic, and I can't wait to have multiples of these. The goal, I think our goal was roughly 20 to 50 of those. It kind of just depends on how many we actually decide to build, because I know we're going to be adding some more battle droids. if I'm correct, Aiden and I decided on just using the Aqua Droids and the Battle Droids just because of the fact that no other droid was kind of shown during the Clone Wars, so those two are going to be the only ones we actually use. So it's going to be kind of a mix between the Aqua Droid and the regular Battle Droid. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Again, a lot of progress got done. I know it doesn't really look like that because of the fact that it kind of just portions throughout. Honestly, this is actually almost one full-on base plate, which is actually pretty insane. My goal for next week is kind of just continue the water on this side, kind of give it that same area right there. Then more water will probably be filled in this to kind of finish this base plate, maybe even continue on to that one. And probably the pillar, my goal in total, I think my goal for this pillar is kind of get it to roughly right here. I wanted to make it decently tall, but not to the point that it's just overly tall. And honestly, I'm going to try my best to get as much work done. One piece I really needed was like this one. It was this 1x2, which is this brick right here, with the studs on one side. Those pieces are really useful, and I bought like a lot more than I needed. So I'm excited. Again, my goal is to get this pillar decently done, and maybe I can't promise anything about finishing the platform or starting the platform, but that's my goal. So hopefully that will get done. Again, same situation with this, kind of get it to a decent size, maybe get this one to that size, as well as fill in some water. Again, I have a lot of parts coming in the mail, including that 10,000 studs, which I'm excited to get in hand. So I think that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the outro right now. Okay, guys, so that was today's episode of Building Kamino, and what do you guys think? I think we got a lot. I was able to get a lot of progress done, including these stacking studs. That was like one thing I was dreading, knowing that we'd have to stack studs, was the fact that my thumbs would probably hate me, and they're already starting to hate me. But honestly, I'm really happy with all the progress that got done. I can't wait to see what I'm able to get done next week. Now, again, this is a collaboration between Aiden, AdorierLegoStudios, and myself. So if you want to check his episode out, I'll leave a link to his channel and his episode in the description below. And I highly recommend you go checking it out because of the fact that our goal is for both episodes to do well, because of the fact that, again, this is a collaboration. So, again, if you want to check him out, I'll definitely leave it in the description below. Again, let me know what you think of this week's episode of Building Kamino. I really enjoyed building this week, as well as let me know what you think of doing time lapses for most of the episodes, kind of just going over some stuff. I know for quite a bit, it's probably just going to be stacking studs because of the fact that I've got a lot on hand, and for the time being, all that I can really do is the pillar and the stacking studs. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing for the next couple weeks, and I want to hear you guys' opinions on the fact. If you enjoyed, definitely smash that like button, as well as if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. We have some awesome content coming down, as well as a little mock I was able to put together this past week. So if you enjoyed, smash that like button. Again, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of today's episode, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.